So should you pay mortgage closing costs? It's a question that I've heard literally hundreds of times over the last 10 years from clients just like you. And, you know, before we delve into whether you should pay them or not pay them, I think you need to understand that there are legitimate costs to get you a loan. I've done many mortgages for myself, and we have many of those same exact fees I pay. It's just a cost to get the loan done. The most common fee is the origination fee. That goes to keep the lights on around here. It pays for these marketing materials that you see. It pays for the clothes that I have on, the car I got here, and the home that I came from. So that's how we survive, okay? And then you've got a processing fee. A processing fee is paying for a processor to get the loan ready to submit to underwriting. There's also a lot of verifications that are in there. In my case, it includes your credit reports, flood certifications, verifications of employment, verifications of rent, verification of your tax returns. So there's a huge research program or research job that needs to be done. We are researching, we as originators or as a bank or as a mortgage company are researching you as a client to make sure that you are capable of repaying this loan and we think you're a safe credit risk. So that's the processing of the loan, to get all that documentation together. Then that file goes over to an underwriter. And an underwriter's job is to make sure that they don't write bad loans, to make sure that everything we've turned in as loan originators and as a processor is accurate, nothing is fraudulent, and that you meet the loan guidelines. Now, this is a highly paid individual who has the responsibility of handing out the bank's money. And believe it or not, there are, in many instances, 10 to 20 hours that are spent to underwrite a file. So there's naturally a fee to pay that person to do that. Then you've got title closing costs, title insurance, some prepaid interest that might be paid. Let's not forget an appraiser. We're going to set up an escrow account for taxes and insurance. So these are all closing costs. It's a cost to get you into this mortgage and on your way towards making your payments. So there's two ways to do this. You can either prepay those up front and you can pay them, or a seller can pay them for you. Or you can do what we call finance them into the interest rate of the loan. And what that means is this. If the going interest rate today is 6%, and I say, Bob, if you pay 6% for this mortgage and cover your closing costs, then that's the best rate we can get you. And if you say, well, Josh, I don't want to pay my closing costs. I don't have that extra $6,000, and the seller's not willing to pay it. What can we do? Well, I may be able to go to the bank that I'm negotiating with and say, well, what if we give Bob a 6.5% interest rate? What if we give Bob a 7% interest rate, but we don't cover any of those, we don't charge him any of those closing costs. We just absorb those. And then over the life of the loan, we're making a higher rate of interest, and of course we'll be paid back over the life of the loan. So that's how people do a no closing cost loan. It's not like they just go, no closing costs, right? They still have to pay the processor, the underwriter, the originator, the appraiser, the title company, the title insurance, the escrow account. All those things are still there. It's just that you're not getting the world's best interest rate. We're raising your interest rate, taking a higher rate of return over the life of your loan, and that's how we're getting paid back for that. And generally what happens is the bank will pay me, I'll cover all those fees for you, and then the bank makes their money back over time. Okay? So that's what a no closing cost loan is. Now the question is, should you go with a no closing cost, and is it right for your particular situation and your family? And here's where the rubber meets the road. What I have found is that if you're going to be in the home for greater than 4 years, now this is a little bit of a generality, but it generally holds true. If you're going to be in the home, if you can envision yourself in the home greater than 4 years, pay your closing costs up front, get the absolute lowest interest rates you can over the life of your loan, especially when rates are in the range that we are right now. As I'm filming this today, rates are at like 5% on a 30-year fix, ridiculously cheap money. Take that cheap money and if you have that home for 30 years, you're going to be really happy you're not paying 6% for it. So if you're going to be in the home less than 4 years, like let's say you say, I'm buying a home, but I'm dating a girl. I know we're probably going to get married over the next couple of years and more than likely have kids, and then this condo or this 2-bedroom house isn't going to make it happen anymore. So let's do a no closing cost loan. I'm going to keep my cash and I'll pay a little bit higher interest rate over the first couple of years. So if you're going to be in it for less than 4 years, no closing costs might be the way to go. Greater than 4 years, closing costs are the way to go. Now, one more little word of wisdom here. 4 years goes like this. So you may think that you're not going to be in that home for more than 4 years, but it really does go quickly. So if you're in a low interest rate environment like we are now, where rates are 5% or less, it would be a very rare instance where I'd advise you to do a no closing cost loan, because that rate is so low. And when rates are up at 7 and 8%, 10%, that low interest rate is a real commodity. It's a real value there. Now, if rates are higher, like 7 or 8%, then maybe you do a no closing cost loan because you think, geez, I'm going to try and refi this thing in a couple of months when rates get a little bit better, and so why do I want to pay closing costs twice? So that's my little bit of wisdom on closing costs versus no closing costs. I've created 10 of these short videos of my clients' most frequently asked questions. I'd love to give you access to the other 9 videos. Please just enter in your name and email address here. I'll give you instant access to all those videos. And if you have any questions, call me, email me. Happy to help you. Happy house hunting out there, and make it a great day. Take care.